Galloway's How To. The Blind Woodturner, Chris Fisher.
Hello and welcome to Galloway's How To. Today on Wednesday, the 16th of March, we've got Chris, the blind woodturner, who is joining us to talk about his journey, his career and his experience. So thank you so much, Chris, for joining us today, and over to you.
Well, thank you very much for that lovely introduction, Nadia, and it's great to be here again with Galloway's. And yeah, well, I'll start at the beginning, I suppose, as they say. What a great place to start. So I was just mentioning before, Nadia, that I've been blind just a little over 13 years now, and it happened really quickly. And I suppose it's easiest to say that I woke up one Sunday morning, October 2008, with a severe visual impairment and wasn't sure what was causing it. And then I didn't know whether or not to go to the optician or to the local GP. So we decided to go to the optician, and my eyes were non-responsive, very, very blurred eyesight. It's probably like looking through, a load of petroleum jelly, Vaseline smeared over your eyes. The vision was very, very poor. So the optometrist, he put drops in my eyes and they were non-responsive, and he shone the scope with the light on and they were non-responsive. And he did manage to have a look at the back of my eyes, and around both my retinas were swollen, and he really didn't know what to make of it, but he certainly knew that I needed a very quick referral to the eye hospital in Manchester. So we went to the eye hospital the following day, and at first they thought it could have been an early onset of macular degeneration, which was very quickly ruled out. And then they also thought it could have been a form of arthritic blindness called uveitis, which again was pretty quickly ruled out. And in that first week of appointments, the blurriness started going to complete loss of vision. So a dark area of no vision. And I also had a scan just to rule out any possible tumours or something a bit more serious, a stroke maybe. And 4 weeks later, I had the angiogram, and well, just a little over 3 weeks actually, I had the angiogram and I was totally blind, and the diagnosis was toxoplasmosis, which I'd picked up somewhere from being near animal feces, even maybe as long back as being a child.
Oh my God, wow.
Yeah, could have picked it up on the park as a child, and it had laid dormant. And the prognosis that followed the diagnosis was complete and irreversible blindness permanently. So that was obviously a game-changing, life-changing circumstance to be presented with. And that day I did cry, because I was a very keen motorcyclist. I was a student pilot learning to fly, and was working and had a 7-year-old son at the time, and being married and everything. You lose everything instantly, and it was a big shock. But you're told that your rehabilitation will start and the machinery will take over. So you're surrounded then by sensory team workers and social workers, and you're being instructed on how to use your long cane and screen reading software and getting your liquid level indicator, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, the first 6 months to a year was busy, but I didn't really feel unwell because of it. And then I was doing a cookery course at Bolton College, a cookery course for the blind.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. doing a cookery course, and that was when I had my first really serious panic attack. So we'd been in the kitchens in the morning doing practical work, and then in the afternoons we'd be doing some theory, and I was just very quiet and subdued. And my tutor, she said, "You're very quiet, Chris. That's not like you." So I said, "Well, I feel pretty bad at the minute. Could you take me to the bathroom?" So she took me to the bathroom, and I was sick and had a panic attack and all the hot flushes, and I thought I was having a heart attack or something, didn't know what was going on. So they arranged to get me home. And that was the start of what would be 4 years of really very severe, debilitating anxiety.
And do you think that sort of caught up with you all at once? You know,
Yes,
you had the diagnosis, but then you just had things to do in regards to rehabilitation, and you didn't have time to process it.
Exactly right, Nadia. It was a delayed action. You know, maybe I'd been in shock for that first year, busy, like you've just said, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And and then for 4 years, it was symptoms such as, you know, not just feeling nauseous, but actually, you know, vomiting, hallucinations, which, you know, are quite common for people that have lost the sight. And
Yeah.
I found them interesting, to be honest, the hallucinations. But
yeah, it's not really something that people are aware of at all. Absolutely.
Yeah. So hallucinations, insomnia, muscle spasms, scared to go out. And I had a support worker at the time, a PA, and sometimes he'd arrive for work and I'd say, "I just feel terrible. Can we stay in?" And other times we'd manage to get out, and then I'd panic over something or nothing and have a full-blown panic attack, and he'd have to get me home so I could lie down. And it was shocking. And it got to such a point that I was considering suicide. And it was absolutely shocking. And if I would have been a bachelor or lived on my own, I think I would have taken my life. And what kept me going was a very close family and a young son. So I decided to get some counselling from the RNIB, bereavement counselling. And I was also put on medication by my doctor, which helped. And slowly but surely, I started to have the odd good day where I'd get through the whole day functioning, you know, as a blind guy, but not feeling ill because of it. And slowly but surely, you start having more good days than bad days. And, you know, I still suffer with anxiety, but it manifests now in such a mild way. I'll just go a bit quiet if I'm a bit anxious, or I get a bit of a lump in my throat, but I can deal with that and I can function. So that was a trip into hell and back. And it's just inevitable when you go so completely and irreversibly blind so quick. Your brain doesn't know how to process what's gone on. So I persevered, and so glad that I decided to hang around. And I've always been an amazing fan and lover of horror films and Halloween, and love putting on a great show for the local kids. And I thought I'd love to have a really nice vampire steak as a horror prop to go with this coffin that I had. So
as you do, Chris.
As you do, yeah. Well, coming from Eccles, you know, there's a few bloodsuckers knocking around there. So only kidding, Eccles, you know I love you. So yeah, I listened to YouTube for 600 hours. That's what we've calculated it at. So I had my laptop on my knee every day for about 4 or 5 hours. And, you know, quite a few months later, I'd assimilated all this information about wood turning and the machinery and the tools and the techniques and health and safety and equipment and protective clothing. And I just bought a lathe and got some wood and got the tools and taught myself just by touch. Now, in those early days, like anyone trying to learn a new craft or art form. You know, lots of mistakes were made, and it was just a matter of never giving up and persevering. And I was completely hooked. I ended up with my vampire steak, which I've still got in my workshop, and that's a
Wow.
reminder. That's a reminder of how it all started. So a lot of people that come to my workshop now to study, you know, I say this is why it all started, just this vampire steak.
Oh, so
So,
you teach it now as well?
yeah,
Wow.
I teach because I'm accredited. I teach. I have a fully equipped, safe workshop, and have both able-bodied and disabled students, blind students, visually impaired. I teach kids with autism, cerebral palsy, and people from all walks of life that want to give wood turning a try. So
That's
that,
phenomenal.
that's a way of paying it forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot of fun, and it's great. This is what I do for a living now, and I'm a full-time wood turning professional. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I was lucky enough to be nudged by a couple of master wood turners to apply to the Register of Professional Turners, which is the governing body, and they were convinced that I was good enough to take the accreditation and pass, even though a blind student had never done it before. So I got my sponsors, and Nicola applied for me, and the assessment was arranged, and it's a very intensive assessment. It takes about 2.5 hours, and you have an interview, and they're taking notes and photographing pieces of your work, and they make sure that your workshop is safe, and you've got fire extinguishers, first aid kit, accident book, all that sort of thing. And then you do a practical component, and that is video recorded, and photographs are taken, and notes. And this all goes back to Skinner's Hall in London, a guild hall, where the Register of Professional Turners and the Worshipful Company of Turners have their offices. And the Worshipful Company of Turners has been in existence since the 12th century. So a lot of history and a lot of heritage associated with it. And 3 weeks later, I found out that I'd passed. So I've become the first ever blind registered professional wood turner.
Wow.
So that was great. And that was validation of all my hard work, thousands of hours of work and practice. And I've got some support and sponsorship by some really big names in the business. Axminster Tools and Tormek of Sweden, King Arthur's Tools of America, Chroma Craft, and some, you know, really great associations and affiliations with some really big players in the industry. And I was getting booked for demonstrations and appearing on stage at the NEC, Maker Central, a huge convention for makers and creators. And the media found out about me because Nicola, through a job as a business advisor and business mentor, she had a few contacts, and yeah, the BBC got in touch, and I was featured on BBC News Northwest, on BBC Sunday Morning Live. I was on BBC Radio Manchester, some publications about wood turning, and also some publications that support disabled people and disabled communities. So
Yeah.
the media interest was gathering pace.
Well, when I told my brother that you were coming on to see us today, he works for the BBC, so he said, "Oh yeah, we've had him on ages ago."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been on the BBC quite a few times. Well, actually, the story with the BBC isn't over. I'll explain that in a minute now.
Okay.
But,
okay.
Yeah, things were gathering pace, and let's say I was being recognised in the wood turning world, and I was sort of like evolving into a wood turning artist, and my work is it's sensory and tactile. It has a carved element, and it can be quite gnarly, because just to turn a very smooth, plain, round bowl doesn't really do anything for me being blind. I want it to be yelling at me with texture and, setting my mind,
like a whole sensory experience, isn't it?
Yeah. So a lot of my work, most of my work has texture, unless it's a piece commissioned by a customer or client who, just want a very plain 14-inch walnut salad bowl, say, and then I'll work to those criteria. But, it's been amazing. I'm exhibited in an art gallery here in the Derbyshire Dales, and I'm the best-selling artist in the gallery. And my pieces are fetching, really good money now when they sell, and I'm starting to be collected by art collectors. So it's every week I'm having to pinch myself, with what's going on. But back to the BBC thing. Last summer, two sort of like quite big media thing. Well, last year there was three things actually. The documentary that you mentioned now.
Yeah.
So I was featured on a BBC Two documentary called Blind Ambition, about blind artists from various fields: a rapper, opera singer, a painter, me, the woodturner. And it was great to be part of that and inspire and motivate other disabled people to, try new things and, not be scared of giving something a go, something they might have dreamed of their whole life. And don't be scared. You'll never know unless you give it your best try. And that was a great documentary. And then something that had been in the pipeline for 2 years came off. We were approached initially about 2 years ago by Google. They wanted to do a film about me, and because of the pandemic, that was postponed multiple times.
Okay.
But last July, everything fell into place. So a production crew of 12 people were here with us at home in Derbyshire, and the director Henry had been flown in from Canada. The cinematographer had come from the south of France, Montpellier, Alfred. We had, catering, medics, runners, production crew. We had live satellite uplink to Los Angeles, so the producers for Google in LA could watch real time as they were filming my scenes. So that was excellent. So they shadowed us. They shadowed us for approximately a week. They were here in the UK for 10 days, shooting a lot of secondary footage and things. And they shadowed me and Nicola and my guide dog Bamber, to the gallery, to the sawmill where I get my wood, and in the workshop and preparing meals. And that was just a great experience, a wonderful opportunity. And I think that's nearly 1 million views, that film. So
and where might somebody watch that, Chris?
If you go on YouTube, Google's account on YouTube, so Google's channel, there's a short film about 4 minutes long.
Okay.
About the blind woodturner.
Right. I'll have a look at that, definitely.
So that was that. And then shortly after that, we were contacted by the BBC again, and the production company that makes the programme Money for Nothing on BBC One. So they contacted and were interested in, in finding and securing a woodturner for the programme.
Okay.
So I had a couple of casting interviews and got the gig. So my filming has started. I've got 2 episodes completed now. So my episodes will start airing this autumn. So
okay.
For those not familiar with the show, it's where the show's host, Sarah, she'll go to recycling centres and tips, and she'll find something that's been thrown out, and then it's taken to an expert, and they do their magic on it, and it's sold then, and the profits go to the member of public that was throwing the item away. Yes,
I remember watching that programme. So it's going to be airing in autumn, so I'll definitely be tuning into
my episodes start airing. So when someone's cut down a tree out of their garden and they're chucking it away, the show now goes, that's an interesting tree. I wonder what Chris could do with that. So they drop off a huge tree.
Yeah.
And then they film the discussion about what I could possibly make out of it.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's a great show. So
Really good.
yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
Wow. That's so interesting. Amazing. So I've got a question for you then. What's the best piece you've ever made? What's your most prized possession?
Well, I've made a couple of, amazing statement pieces, and there's a fossil called an ammonite, and it's like a spiral fossil.
Okay.
So I turned about an 18-inch fossil, and it was carved and textured and coloured, and that sold to her name is Liz Fothergill, MBE, and she's the Lord Lieutenant of Derbyshire.
Okay.
So she bought that piece for her collection, for her own home, and so that was an amazing achievement. And I've recently been getting a couple of commissions from local churches.
Oh, okay.
So I did a platter for our village church, and then on the back of that I got another commission. So I've just turned a 4-foot tall candle stand for a church for Easter.
Oh, okay.
So that is an amazing piece, and it's all been coloured and airbrushed, and it's taken me 3 weeks to do this piece.
So do you do the decorating of the items as well?
Yeah. I used to work in the automotive industry, spraying cars and doing bodywork restoration for BMW. So
right, okay.
So I know my way around colours and airbrushes and spray guns and things. So I do all the painting myself, and it's very challenging not being able to see the colours, but because of my memory map, I've got a fighting chance, and it always helps for me to say, Nicola, how does this look? And she'll say, yeah. But pretty much if I go and trust what's in my heart and mind, as an artist, it can't be wrong. You just do what feels right as an artist.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm enjoying a lot of things, and the charity that I'm a patron for, UK Men's Sheds Association, we were invited to the Houses of Parliament 2 weeks ago, because we've just got a charter push through well-being through craft and DIY.
Excellent.
So it's great to be part of that as well. So yeah, it just continues, Nadia, and the bottom line has always been to inspire and motivate as many people as we can. That's always been the core, the very epicenter of why I do what I do publicly.
Yes.
Because we need to reach out to as many people, and support as many people. And obviously with great charities like Galloway's, people might not know what options are available, or if they're coming to terms with some recent sight loss, or they just want to learn something new or make friends. You have these amazing organizations that people can tap into, get support and get some answers, and have a coffee morning, and days and events that are arranged and set up. So
absolutely.
It's very important that when you're blind, you can sometimes feel so lonely and cut off. But get involved, find your local group and get involved, and it can be not just a life changing, it can be a life-saving decision.
And life enhancing as well. So would you, I believe that, it's all well and good with the rehabilitation officer saying, you can do it. We just do it differently. But it's a different story when you see somebody doing it and achieving. So I think you are that role model for a lot of people, whether they want to go into wood turning or not. Just the fact that, even if you can't see anything, there's still a world of possibility out there, isn't there?
Yeah, of course. And when I was little, my mum and dad used to say, you know, you can be anything you want, you can do anything. And it wasn't a lie. They really meant it. And
Yeah.
you know, what the mind can perceive, the body will achieve. It's not easy. You know, you have to put the work in, and there'll be times of self-doubt and, you know, one step forward, two step back, but never ever give up. You know, it's okay to have a bad day and things aren't going great, and you know, that's when it's time to just say, right, well, I'm gonna just chill out today and have a chat with my friends or listen to some music, but I am not giving up. Tomorrow I'm going to be straight back at it, whether or not it's wood turning, learning how to use a computer with no eyesight, going to the shop, doesn't matter what the task is. Never ever give up. You will get there, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
You know, but nothing is handed to you in life. You have to want it. And with passion and confidence, tenacity, lots of fun, you know, find time to act silly every day. You know, laughter's such great medicine. And, you know, if you've got a great support network around with like-minded souls, and, you know, you have a laugh and they cheer you up and they make sure you're okay, the sky's the limit, Nadia. It truly is. You know,
absolutely. I mean, you know, you can go to from A to B via a car. You can get to A to B by walking, by cycling. It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get to the same position, you know, and that's all it is with having a disability. It's just doing things differently, but you still ultimately achieve, you know, what you want to.
That's it. We just need people to believe in us and give us a bit of extra time to get the job done. But, you know, trust us, we'll get there, and we might do it slightly different, you know, as to what the prescribed method is. But, you know, certainly with a bit of adaptation and some assistive technology, we'll get there. It might take us a day longer, it might take us an hour longer, but leave us to it, we'll get it done. So,
talking of access technology, what sorts of things do you use?
Well, like a lot of blind and visually impaired people, I use a smartphone that's maxed out. I've got an iPhone, so voiceover's maxed out, and that's great. You know, you've got information there in the palm of your hand. We're fully Googled up, and Alexa and Fire TV, so I can just speak into the remote control and access TV programs and movies and music. I can just hear she who shall not be named.
You've activated her, haven't you?
So there's that, and I in my day-to-day job, I have a talking tape measure. I have a pen friend to help me identify lots of different things and colours and different tins and pots in the workshop. Use apps like Seeing AI, Be My Eyes, things like that for reading documents and magazines. But I'm actually wearing a new device on my left bicep, really, and it's something. It's quite new and it's very exciting. So it's called a Centero, and it's been developed by a company called Cyborg Nest.
Right.
So Nicola and I are part of the beta testing team.
Okay.
So it's a box that is held around your upper arm via a strap, and it's a very clever box that uses technology and global positioning and the Earth's electromagnetic field. So it comes supported by an app, which is Android only at the minute, but soon to be iPhone. And this device uses haptics and vibrations to let me know initially where north is. Okay. So from north, I can navigate east, south, west. Yep. You can program it so it'll recognize places you frequent, the shop, towns, cities, friends, family, and you always feel connected, and it's guiding you and vibrating. And so as you're turning around slowly, you'll feel it vibrate for north.
Oh,
And then
okay.
I'll feel it vibrate for the shop, and it's amazing. And one of the really cool things is, yeah, I've got Nicola programmed into it. So if I turn and it vibrates for where Nicola would be,
Yeah.
if you tap it twice with your finger, you'll feel, well, I'll feel Nicola's heartbeat.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, the device on my arm goes du-dum, du-dum,
Right.
so it's this really amazing connection with your loved ones. So
Wow.
the developer and the inventor of this device, we were talking to him in London, so we just selected him. So I turned and was sort of like facing his direction, and it vibrated, and I flicked it and I felt his heartbeat. So, obviously it's not his heartbeat. It's
Yeah.
it's a haptic.
Simulation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an emulation of that.
Yeah.
But it's mind-blowing, and it's that connection. You feel instantly connected with a friend or a loved one, and no matter where they are, what they're doing, you can feel connected. Great if you've got family that lives overseas or work overseas or anywhere in the country. And it's great for navigation. You feel connected, you feel part of the world. And again, it can be a lonely, frustrating place when you're blind. So yeah, it's a great device. And what technology is able to do now. When I'm out with Bamba and I take him for a walk, as I'm walking, my arm's vibrating, back to home. So I can always find home. So if for any reason, Bamba was at home and I was out with my cane,
yeah,
it would be a great navigational aid. And if me and Nicola were out somewhere shopping and she said, I'm just going to go in the shop next door,
yeah,
or wherever, I'll be back in 10 minutes. It's vibrating in the direction of where she is.
Oh, wow.
So you never feel like you're on your own.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. That connection, definitely.
Yeah. So emotionally, it's a great help. And socially, it's a great device, and navigationally, it's amazing. So it's a true thing. And as time goes on, it will be able to utilize more technology, and you'll be able to use it in different ways. But at the minute, for navigation and a sense of environment, and also being able to sense loved ones in a very intimate way, it's brilliant. It's called the Centero by Cyborg Nest.
Excellent. Okay, fabulous.
Yeah.
One other question was, how do you think your family coped with, the sight loss journey with you, your son, your partner? Well,
my son, being 7 at the time, took it quite hard. Obviously couldn't go for bike rides with Dad anymore, and even though there's footballs and things with bells in, it wasn't the same. And there were times he'd go to school and he'd be upset and he'd be crying because his dad's blind now. So that was difficult. And also for my ex-wife at the time, it was very hard for her. Her workload increased exponentially. And also with my mental health not being good at all.
Yeah.
It was a worrying time for her, and she got frustrated, and at periods, quite rightly angry, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, sadly that marriage ended. And I think blindness played a huge part in that marriage ending. We just ended up being like brother and sister at the end.
Yeah, understand.
And it's just something that happened. And I've remarried now, and my ex-wife, she loved me for the guy who I was before I went blind. And
absolutely,
I met Nicola after going blind, and she loves me for who I am now. And
perfect.
Yeah, so there's a lot more to going blind than just bumping into things. you know, it can be very far reaching and very deep.
Yes.
But it's not that for everybody. It's completely different for all different types of individuals. So what I am saying, I please don't want anyone to be, you know, upset or worried by it. This is my own unique individual story. And I know people that have gone through blindness with, you know, hardly a glitch emotionally or mentally. You know, it's just what happened to me. And, you know, I don't want to sugarcoat and candy coat anything and, you know, just gloss over it and say, no, it'll be fine. Everything's fine. And, you know, because life's not like that. No. So I'm being completely honest. And just, you know. And
we really appreciated, you know, your achievements from where you were to where you are now. That journey is incredible.
And, you know, I just want to say, you know, to everyone that listens to this, you know, you are all amazing. We are all amazing. Yeah. You know, we've all got such an important part to play, you know, on this planet. We're all amazing, and believe in yourself. And, you know, you can be whatever you dream you can be. Everybody is amazing. Everybody was born a genius. As I like to quote the theoretical physicist Michio Kaku, everyone is born a genius. And sometimes people lose it. They go down the wrong path, but you can tap into it again. And, you know, or other times people just haven't found it yet. Yeah, it's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. And I certainly wouldn't change who I am now. I don't want my eyesight back. No. I'm completely happy with who I am. And I tell people that and they go, you know, I've had comments on social media and they say, load of rubbish, you're lying, you know, who would say that? Well, I'm saying it. I don't. I went through hell to, you know, reinvent myself and, you know, go through this rebirth. And this is who I am. And what I am now is hopefully, you know, doing a very important job of helping others and pay it forward. Absolutely. It's humbled you. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, what an incredible story. I really enjoyed talking to you today and listening to that. That was phenomenal. And I'm really looking forward to watching the programme, which is going to air in autumn. So fantastic. Onwards and upwards. Definitely. Definitely. And that goes for everyone. And it's been great talking to you, Nadia, and all of your colleagues there. And keep up the good work. Thank you. You know, it's an amazing service you offer. And if you need somewhere to go, get in touch with someone like Galloway's, you know, and they can certainly help. That's what they're there to do. You know, don't be ashamed. It takes people of real courage to ask for help when they need it. You know, so ask. Don't be afraid to ask. Please do. And you don't have to do it alone. No, not at all. No. Not at all. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate your time and your effort and your story. We've really enjoyed listening to it, and we will share this. And definitely we hope to see you again. But to you and to Nicola, thank you so much for your time. Well, thank you so very much, Nada, and have a great rest of the day, and keep on turning. Brilliant. Thank you, Chris.